Hello everyone, and welcome back to Freedom Through Confidence. My name is Ben, and in this video today, I want to talk to you about how to make peace with past mistakes. Now, if you are anything like me, or pretty much like anyone else on the planet, you've probably made some pretty serious mistakes over the course of your lifetime. And you've probably made a bunch of small mistakes, a bunch of silly mistakes, and, you know, various other assortments of mistakes throughout the course of your life. And in spite of knowing that everyone makes mistakes in life, sometimes big mistakes, sometimes small mistakes, we oftentimes beat ourselves up about them for years and years after we have made these mistakes. For example, during my first real long-term relationship when I was much younger, when I was like 17, 18, I was a terrible boyfriend. I made a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of stupid things. And yeah, it was really bad. I was not a good person back then. And that is one of my big mistakes that kind of still haunts me somewhat. But over time, I've learned how to move past these mistakes so that even when, you know, I am reminded of the fact that I did make those mistakes, I can move past them. I can make peace with those mistakes now. And that's what I want to share in this video today. So the first thing that I want to share about, you know, making peace with your mistakes in your past is some of the things that do not work. Actively trying to forget your mistakes do not work. This is the whole, you know, don't think of a pink elephant for 30 seconds. Like, if you try to actively avoid thinking about your past mistakes, what you're actually doing is, you know, using a significant amount of your mental energy to, you know, basically tell yourself, don't think about that, don't think about that, don't think about that. And then you lose focus for a little while and it's like, oh, what was I supposed to not be thinking about? Oh, that massive mistake that I made when I was like 21, and okay, well, now it's back. And so then you have to work on actively trying to forget that as well, which is of course not how our minds work. We cannot force ourselves to forget something. And oftentimes, the more we try to forget something, the stronger that memory gets. It's a stupid example, but I remember reading a spoiler for a movie called, I think it's called Day of the Dead. And I read this spoiler like 5 or 6 years ago. And I accidentally read it, and I was like, oh, well, crap. I really wanted to watch this movie. Okay, I'm going to try and actively forget, you know, what this particular spoiler is. To this day, I cannot watch that movie because I know how it ends, and it is the most frustrating thing because no matter how much I've tried to forget it, it's always there in the back of my mind. It is the most annoying thing, but that just kind of goes to show you cannot actually actively try to forget something. Here's what else doesn't work. Making excuses. I can make any number of excuses for the fact that I was a crappy boyfriend when I was 18. You know, the fact that, oh, I was only 18, I wasn't exactly emotionally mature, I went through a whole bunch of stuff in my childhood, and none of that really takes away from the fact that I did the things that I did, and I said the things that I said, and I thought the things that I thought. Like, at the end of the day, it was me. Like, I did that. And if you want to know more about personal responsibility, I did a video on that not too long ago, so you can go and check that out if you're interested. But then the final thing that of course does not work is just pretending like it didn't happen at all. Just don't talk about it. If someone brings it up, just kind of move away from the subject. Just pretend like the mistake didn't happen at all. Again, this is pretty much the same thing as trying to actively forget it. And what's going to happen is that's just going to stick around in your mind a little bit longer. And the fact that you're trying to actively deny that it ever happened is just going to make it stick around in the minds of other people as well. Because they're going to be like, well, no, I know that that happened. And the fact that you're kind of being so awkward about it is just going to create even stronger memories in the people that are, you know, also a part of that previous mistake. So if these are the things that don't work, what actually does work when it comes to trying to make peace with your previous failures? Here's the first thing. Forgive yourself. You made a mistake, okay? You made a mistake, and no amount of beating yourself up about it is going to change the fact that that happened. The next thing, if you need to do this, go and ask for forgiveness from the other people that might have been negatively impacted by your mistake. Now, this isn't to say that you need to go and find literally every single person that was impacted by any bad mistake that you've ever made and ask for their forgiveness. I'm talking about, like, you know, if you've made like a really big mistake, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what like a big mistake would be that isn't like super like serious, like killing someone. Like if you cheated on a partner, that would be a mistake in the past, and one of the ways that you can make peace with the fact that you did that is to try and gain forgiveness from that person, or at least ask forgiveness from that person. Of course, they might not give it, but you know, you can only do your best with those kinds of situations. And the final thing that you can do to get over your past mistakes is to find the lesson in what that mistake was. What is there to learn from the mistake that you made? What is there to learn from the failure that occurred? And then take the lessons from that and be better. If you just allow shame to completely overwhelm you because you've made a mistake, then you are not going to be able to actually think about what the mistake was, why it happened, and what you can do to ensure that it doesn't happen again in the future. But by actively trying to learn from those mistakes, you can become a better version of yourself that will not make those mistakes in the future. I took a lot of lessons from the fact that I was a very crappy boyfriend, you know, in my first real relationship, and now I get to apply that to new relationships on, you know, and figure out exactly, you know, how basically to not be a crappy boyfriend, you know, this time around or next time around or whatever it might be. I can apply those lessons because I admitted to myself that I made that mistake. I didn't try to avoid responsibility for it, and I learned the lessons. And ultimately, that is how you can make peace with your past mistakes. You forgive yourself first and foremost, because that is the only forgiveness that you are actually in charge of. Yes, you made a mistake. That's not who you are now. So you can start to move forward, learn from that mistake, and become a better person, and ask for forgiveness from people or parties who might have been hurt by the mistake that you made. It doesn't guarantee that you will be forgiven, but it is a step in the right direction. So I hope you have found this video useful today. Let me know what your thoughts and questions are in the comment section down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if this is the kind of content that you like. I put out a video every single day all about confidence and life advice for the average Joe. So if this is what you want, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And of course, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. But that's the video over for today, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos here on this channel very soon.